Hello and welcome to all of viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Midday News on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Ubong Usoro. A quick reminder, Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. A series of recent coordinated attacks across Kwara, Kebbi and Niger states has renewed national concern over internal security. At a high-level security briefing in Abuja, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Ebetokun, warns that any breach anywhere is a threat to peace everywhere, as he unveiled stronger policing measures to protect vulnerable communities nationwide. Defense correspondent Kike Lomo-Kere has details.
The nation is still reacting to three disturbing incidents: the abduction of 38 worshippers in Kwara, the kidnap of 25 schoolgirls in Kebbi, and the attack on a Catholic school in Niger. Though sweetly contained, the police chief, Kayode Ebetokun, admits the event shows that pockets of insecurity continues to puncture the peace citizens deserve. He says the perception that security agencies are not working is inaccurate, but added that leadership demands higher standards and no room for excuses. According to him, officers are under strict order to ensure every abducted pupils in Niger is rescued and reunited with their families. He stressed that Nigerian security architecture must now institutionalize collaboration across agencies, state government, and community structure in order to defeat crime in the country.
Therefore, I state firmly, there is no viable alternative to collaboration. Fragmented response creates opportunity for criminals, but unified response removes it. In this regard, the force will continue to sustain intelligence-backed interagency operations to contain and dismantle the activities of armed bandits, terrorists, kidnappers, and all violent threat actors operating across our internal security theaters.
The Inspector General of Police also addressed the recent presidential directive withdrawing police officers from VIPs protection. He described the move as a strategic deployment designed to free manpower for frontline duties, where public safety impact is greatest. He says over 500 personnel have already been recalled for active policing.
Emphasize that this action is a patriotic, forward-looking, and operationally prudent measure designed to strengthen our manpower capacity for critical frontline policing functions.
As the festive season approaches, the police chief directed all state commands to activate expanded visibility plans on highways, motor parks, and rural corridors, backed by AI-supported surveillance tools, drones, and intensified joint operations. With renewed operational urgency and nationwide deployment on the way, the police chief says the message to criminals is clear. The Nigerian police force is not retreating, it is advancing. Kike Lomo-Kere, Global Television News.
The House of Representatives has commended President Bola Tinubu for declaring a state of emergency on national security. Lawmakers also urged security agencies to identify informants who endanger personnel and hinder operations. National Assembly correspondent Aniete Patrick reports.
It was the third and final day of deliberations on Nigeria's security situation. Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu opened the session with a commendation for the president, highlighting his responsiveness before outlining the details of the emergency declaration.
Listening administration, and to also let you know that the conversations you are having in this sacred chamber is not falling on deaf ears. Steps has been activated, stimulated.
Members shared chilling accounts of terror and despair from their constituencies, describing attacks, abductions, and displacement. Many expressed frustrations over the withdrawal of police officers previously attached to them, which has limited their ability to visit affected communities.
Prominent people in this country have talked about these terrorists. They have taken pictures with these terrorists. They have acted covertly and overtly.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, we cannot legislate in comfort while our people live in fear. We cannot plan for tomorrow while our children are unable to go to school today.
Establish
a Border Security Control Act to better secure our land borders. 5, create a National Intelligence Fusion Center.
Lawmakers rejected negotiations with bandits and called for individual states to prosecute and jail suspects locally. They emphasized that decentralized justice could serve as a deterrent to criminal activities.
We must strengthen the Interagencies Consultative Committee on Election Security and deepen collaboration among INEC, the police, DSS, civil defense. I had a lot of my colleagues who were supposed to travel over the weekend to visit their constituency to say they can't make it again because the security has been withdrawn from VIPs. Are we saying that we are not part of the VIPs? I'm sure that a lot of people cannot travel to their various constituencies without having armed men escorting them.
Also need to also implement community security plan to empower local government to develop tailored security strategy.
After 3 days of discussions and following the president's decisive action, the House expressed optimism that Nigeria can overcome its current security challenges if the necessary political will is maintained. Attention is expected to shift to the constitutional review next week, with the House indicating it will vote on proposed amendments in the second week of December. From the National Assembly, Aniete Patrick reporting for Global TV News.
The Senate has rejected a bill seeking to establish a National Ethic and Reconciliation Commission. Senate correspondent Topsy Gimba has details.
The bill, sponsored by Senator Anthony Ani of Ebonyi South, was turned down at its second reading during plenary. The proposed legislation presented by Senator Anthony Siaku Iyaro aimed to tackle ethnic marginalization, manage grievances, and promote national unity. The bill, however, faced strong opposition from lawmakers.
We have taken several steps to address insecurity as we are facing now. We lack a permanent national institution dedicated solely to ethnic harmony, reconciliation, and early warning conflict prevention.
Senate President Gosapavio criticized the bill's wording, saying it suggested ongoing ethnic conflict and warned that a permanent commission might send a wrong message.
Those in support that this ethnic and reconciliation commission be set up as a law in Nigeria say aye. Those again say nay. The nays have it.
Senator Adams Oshomole in the North also expressed concerns, describing the commission as an additional bureaucratic layer unlikely to offer practical solutions.
Why we should open our eyes and create additional overhead to achieve purposes that can otherwise be achieved even voluntarily troubles me. But if in the views of the Senate is an offense to shoot down anything, let it go.
While a few senators voiced support, the majority opposed the bill, leading to its rejection by a decisive vote.
Those in support that this ethnic and reconciliation commission be set up as a law in Nigeria say aye. Those again say nay. The nays have it.
Also in the red chamber, the Senate also confirmed former federal lawmaker Ayo Ohulayat Omiduron as the executive chairman of the Federal Character Commission, FCC, approving her nomination along 37 commissioners representing the 36 states and the FCT. The confirmation followed the adoption of the screening report presented by Senator Allwell Hecho Onyeso, chairman of the Senate Committee on Federal Character and Intergovernmental Affairs. He said all nominees submitted the required documents and faced a thorough screening without any criminal petitions recorded against them. Mohamed Musa remains as secretary of the FCC. Presenting the report to the chamber, Senator Olwe Hecho Onyeso, chairman of the Senate Committee on Federal Character and Intergovernmental Affairs, informed lawmakers that all nominees have appeared before the committee on November 13th.
The committee received the curriculum vitae and other supporting documents of the nominees, as well as relevant security clearances, including the Nigerian police fingerprints, search report, and the vetting by the Department of State Services, with an acknowledgement of their respective documentations at the Code of Conduct Bureau.
Leader of the Senate, Senator Kwemi Bamidele, moved the motion for the Senate to dissolve into the Committee of the Whole with the chamber to consider the nominees, Topsy Gemba, reporting for Global Television News.
In a display of honor, tradition, and military pride, the Nigerian Army has formally rolled out 8 retired generals, celebrating decades of leadership and service that helped shape the nation's engineering corps. Global Television News correspondent Felicity Ndere will bring you the reports in our subsequent bulletin. You're watching the live broadcast of Midday News. When Midday News returns, Nigerian Sports Commission kickstarts sports reform session in Calabar. Details coming shortly, plus business and foreign stories on the other side of this break. Please do stay with us. In business, Nigeria has taken a major step towards becoming home to one of Africa's most significant financial institutions for the energy sector. The federal government requirements for the takeoff of the Africa Energy Bank have now been fully met, positioning the country at the center of the continent's next phase of oil and gas investment. Kike Lomo-Okere now brings the report.
Nigeria's drive to anchor Africa's energy future is entering its final lap. Months after winning the bid to host the headquarters of Africa Energy Bank, the country says the facility is now complete, fully furnished and ready for operations. During an inspection in Abuja, the Minister of Petroleum Resources, Enikin Lokobiri, confirmed that Nigeria has delivered on every obligation required of host nations. He says the $5 billion bank was created to close long-standing funding gap in Africa oil and gas sector, gaps that Apple says have left the continent heavily dependent on external financing, restricted technology access, and limited market control.
Apple and African Bank are the drivers of this process, to facilitate the takeoff, of the bank. But what Nigerians, and the world need to know today is that as a host country, we have met all our obligations, and the building is ready. The bank is ready to go.
So have you handled? With Nigerian readiness now confirmed, the continent moves closer to a new financial institution designed to reshape how African funds develop and benefit from its energy wealth. Kike Lomo-Okere, Global Television News.
Homegrown innovation and technology ecosystem received a major boost as the Tertiary Education Trust Fund unveiled breakthroughs developed through its flagship research and incubation programs. Jumai Manson now reports.
At the closing of the demo day held at the Innovate Technology Hub in Abuja, TED Fund Executive Secretary Sonny Echonu reaffirmed the fund's commitment to driving research, innovation, and commercialization across Nigeria tertiary institutions. He explained that the program are structured to move ideas from concept to real-world solutions, targeting key sectors including agriculture, ICT, energy, health, security, and the circular economy.
And these programs are designed to equip our lecturers to reignite the creative, the research spirit in them.
Echonu highlighted some of the prototypes on display, including a smart power management device, an automated plastic recycling system, and a self-propelled seed planting machine. Innovations, he says, reflect the ingenuity emerging from Nigerian campuses. He also commended the partnership with Innovate Technology Hub and acknowledged the Minister of Education, Dr. Maruf Tunji Alausa, for sustaining national support for research-driven development. Speaking on the quality and durability of the inventions, Deputy General Manager of Innovate, Dr. Deji Ige, stressed the importance of sustainability, rigorous testing, and long-term market readiness.
With 90-95% local content, unless those things that cannot be seen around here, which I doubt, a good number of them.
Similarly, Head of Programs and Ventures at Innovate Hub, Tolulokpe Aino, said TED Fund's investment continues to empower innovations with tools and mentorship needed to scale their solutions.
TED Fund has, over the years, continued to show immense support and contribution to developing innovators like yourself.
With these emerging prototypes and the renewed push for commercialization, TED Fund says Nigeria is not just preparing for the future, it is building it.
This is a simple technology that replaces the manual method, and therefore we came up with a sustainable, user-friendly machine that is designed to eliminate manual milking drudgery, reduce contamination.
Behind me are inventions made by inventors right here in Nigeria. All the products, all materials are gotten right here in Nigeria. Now, TED Fund, in collaboration with Innovate, has brought together a wide array of inventors to showcase made in Nigerian products aimed at driving sustainable development. Jumai Manson reporting for Global Television.
All right, so we're brought to reports that the Nigerian Army rolled out drums to celebrate 8 retired generals, done by my colleague Felicity Ndere in Makurdi. Now the report is ready.
At the headquarters of the Nigeria Army School of Military Engineering in Makurdi, a rare and symbolic ceremony unfolded, the rolling out of senior officers who have completed long, distinguished military careers. For the Army Corps of Engineers, it is more than a farewell. It is a reminder to serving personnel to stay alert, remain combat ready, and uphold the discipline required to confront Nigerians' evolving security threats. The 8 Sapa generals honored each served the nation for more than 3 decades. Their sign-off is a tribute to commitment, resilience, and a lifetime of military excellence. The revealing officer, Major General Philip Oromosele, speaking on behalf of the retirees, reflected on the training and discipline they received at the Nigerian Army School of Military Engineering, noting that these values shaped their careers and sustained their dedication to duty.
We feel highly fulfilled, grateful to God, and grateful to the Service Chief, Chief of Defense Staff, and the President for the opportunity to serve Nigerian Army in this capacity. So we urge our colleagues to remain in service, to remain loyal to the constitutional authority, dedicated, committed towards addressing the myriad of security challenges that confront the nation today.
Representing the Chief of Army Staff, the Chief of Personnel Management, Major General Adewale Adekeye, urged the retired generals to continue to see the Army as home and to offer their wealth of experience in strengthening professionalism within the ranks.
I am here to particularly congratulate the 8 retiring SAPA officers for a meritorious service and to wish them the very best in the next phase of their life.
The ceremony reached its emotional peak with a symbolic rolling out, a tradition marking the end of an era and celebrating the legacy of officers whose service has left an imprint on the Nigeria Army Corps of Engineers. In Makurdi, Felicity Ndere reporting for Global Television News.
Congratulations to the retiring generals for their illustrious service to the nation. Now let's go to the foreign scene. Rwanda's President Paul Kagame has accused Congolese authorities of delaying the signing of a peace agreement ratified by both countries' foreign ministers in late June in Washington, aimed at ending the bloody conflict in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. The region has endured 3 decades of armed conflicts costing hundreds of thousands of lives. Over to Huyi Abumofwegbe for the rest of the story.
Violence intensified in January this year when the Rwanda-backed M23 armed group captured swathes of territory, including the cities of Goma and Bukavu. In June, the DR Congo reached a peace agreement with Rwanda, brokered by Washington, and the following month signed a declaration of principles with the M23 in Doha for what had been regarded as a permanent ceasefire. However, the conflict has continued, with both sides blaming each other for continued violence.
I mean, the amount of hypocrisy and even double standards and real insensitivity of some of these powers that we know, who are associated with the cause of these problems or who accompany the crisis in a way they have chosen, and in the end they are the ones making so much noise.
The DRC's presidential office has said the peace deal could be signed in Washington on December 4 between Kagame and his Congolese counterpart, Felix Tshisekedi, although nothing has been confirmed. Uyi Agbumofwegbe, reporting for Global TV News.
Pope Leo XIV has reiterated his call for the world to unite in search for greater unity and harmony. The Pope spoke on the plane before landing in Turkey during the first overseas trip of his papacy. Again, Uyi Agbumofwegbe completes the story.
The trip, which includes a second leg to Lebanon, begins in the Turkish capital, Ankara. Pope Leo began a 4-day visit to Turkey on Thursday, urging the Turkish government to embrace its role as a mediator in a world gripped by conflict after talks with President Recep Tayyip Erdogan.
In both Turkey and in Lebanon, we hope to also announce, transmit, and proclaim how important peace is throughout the world, and to invite all people to come together, to search for greater unity, greater harmony.
Given the first address, President Erdogan insisted Turkey is a country that would not allow a single one of its people to be subjected to discrimination, hailing the Pope's stance on the Palestinian cause and called for justice for the Palestinian people. Uyi Agbumofwegbe, reporting for Global TV News.
In sports, Nigeria's sports sector is set for another phase of major reforms as the National Sports Commission opens a technical session of the Second National Council on Sports in Calabar, a crucial step towards reshaping policy direction under President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. Anyete Patrick has the details.
Declaring the session open, Director General of the Commission, Bukola Olokpade, described the technical meeting as the heartbeat of sports development in Nigeria, the platform where decisions on infrastructure renewal, athlete development, governance reforms, and private sector participation are designed. He reaffirmed the Commission's commitment to the renewed hope agenda for sports framework, which focuses on commercialization, improved athlete welfare, and long-term structural reforms across all tiers of the sports ecosystem.
You can imagine my excitement when the technical session agreed that we have a scourge in our sports in HT. And when the debate started, everybody agreed that there must be a draconian approach in the punishment for those coaches, those stakeholders who encourage their wards to lie about their age, to fabricate birth certificates, to change their NIN. I don't believe that's happening, but I've been told in this debate that is happening. And that everybody came together to agree on that, all the directors of sports. Even when they were accused that this comes from director of sports, they all agreed that it has to stop.
In her welcome remarks, Cross River State Commissioner for Sports Development, Agnes Atsu, highlighted the state's growing sports profile from the Abokim Green Marathon and Women's League Championship to the revived Governor's Cup, stressing Governor Basi Otu's commitment to sports as a driver of youth empowerment and economic expansion. A major highlight of the session was a presentation on risk management and sports insurance, urging the adoption of comprehensive protection policies for athletes, competitions, and operational activities across the country. With the technical session now underway, stakeholders say the outcome of the Calabar meeting could set the tone for a more structured, competitive, and professionally managed sports industry in Nigeria. Anyete Patrick, reporting for Global TV News.
Nigeria's National Sports Commission has announced the host states for the next two editions of the National Sports Festival, securing Bayelsa State for 2028 and Kaduna State for 2030. The development is being described as another milestone for sports development and growth in the country. The 2028 edition will be held in Bayelsa State, the first time the South-South State will stage the country's biggest multi-sports event, a move the National Sports Commission says will further strengthen Nigeria's domestic sports landscape. And that's it on Global TV Midday News. A quick reminder, Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now, sharing on your screen using @Global TV NG. I am Ubong Usoro. Bye for now.